Maybe you got interested in meditation because you're feeling like you're close to a burnout and you just need to take a step back. Just need to calm down that mind so it's not constantly churning around. Or perhaps you're having problems sleeping, or there are tons of reasons why you might get interested in meditation, but you don't know what to do. In the beginning, we have no idea how to do this thing, and you've heard so much about it. So you go online and you start searching for how to meditate, and you download an app and you start listening to the instructions, and it's still not really working for you. So you're joining an online retreat, or you go into some fancy course and you spend all that time trying to make it work, and you hear the stories of amazing discoveries of other people, but for you it's not working. So you give up. Because maybe this meditation stuff wasn't for me. Maybe it's just other people who can do this. If you're new to the channel, my name is Martin, and I lived as a Buddhist monk for 6 years, spending most of that time living in really intensive meditation centers around Asia and Europe. And I've met thousands of people, or at least talked to hundreds of people who are beginning out with meditation. And I've seen so many people get caught up in this trap where they try to get a meditation practice going, but it's just not working. And this is what I would do if I would start over again. The main thing when we start meditating is, like I said, you don't know what to do. So you start searching for all these solutions of some special technique, because my mind is special. My problems are special. It's not just, oh, I just can choose to feel better. It doesn't work like that. It feels like, at least. So you look for the magic technique that is going to work for you, and you try one technique, but that doesn't work, so you try another one, and then you go into these strange, bizarre side quests of finding the magical technique that is going to fix it like that for you, but it still doesn't work. The way to solve all of this is simply to, at least the thing I wish someone would have told me when I started, is that the technique is not as important as you think it is. In fact, I would say the main thing when you're looking for a technique as you're starting out is to take the simplest, most uncomplicated technique that you can find, even though that goes against what you believe you need, because like I said, we all believe our psyche is very special and we need to have a special technique developed just for us so that we can overcome our suffering. But just choosing the simplest and most uncomplicated technique that you can stick with, and then you can keep doing over and over again and finally master, is what I wish everyone who started out meditating would know. And the best way that I know how to do this, and the thing that I teach all of my students, is breathing meditation. It is such a simple technique. It doesn't require anything from the outside. You always have the breath with you, and it works for everyone. There are some people who have a hard time observing the breath, and there are nuances to that you can work with and make it work just for you if that's an issue you have. But after you find a technique that works for you, the next thing that happens is that you sit down, and let's say you chose something like breathing meditation, and you sit down and you're observing your breath, and those pesky darn thoughts just keep coming back. You listen to all the teachings about how should I focus on the breath. You count the breath. You sit in a special place. You go to a meditation center where the energy is so vibrant and so good, and still the thoughts just keep coming. But the thing is, this is probably an even bigger mistake people do than having a hard time choosing their technique, is that they focus on their thoughts. We believe, since all of the psychology traditions we have in the West, and pretty much most meditation techniques also, focus on the thoughts as if the thoughts were the problem. But the thing is, your thoughts are not the problems. If you could just see your thoughts for a while and see how they pop up, you realize that thoughts just happen. But the problem is not the thought. So we need to find the thing that's actually the issue, which is the feelings associated with your thoughts. When you sit and you have a thought, let's say, oh my goodness, my hair looks like crap this morning. If I would have had that thought when I was 15, I go, oh my goodness, I'm going to stay home from school today. I just can't get my hair to look right. It just doesn't work. But if I have that same thought today when I wake up, like, oh my goodness, my hair looks like crap. Actually, I wouldn't even say, oh my goodness. I just say, oh, well, it's just another Monday. Or I put on a cap. Or I just walk out with my hair looking like crap. it doesn't bother me today. It's still the same thought, but the emotion and the feeling connected to that thought is very different. So the thing that we need to see is that the thoughts are not the issue, but instead it's how we relate to those thoughts. So you need to learn to observe, while you're observing the breath, to observe the emotions or the feelings that are connected to your thoughts, rather than focus on stopping your thoughts, which is impossible. You simply cannot do that. You can do it temporarily, but there is no one on this planet who has been able to stop their thoughts permanently, excluding the people who say they don't actually have thoughts, which may be true, but that's like a unicorn problem. So you found your technique, you realize that, oh my goodness, I've been completely wrong. The thoughts are not the problem. It's how I relate to these thoughts. That's the problem. But then there's one more thing that people get caught up in when they start meditating. And I think if people would just give it more time, this would not be an issue. But you sit down, you have your technique, you realize, okay, it's not the thought. I'm going to focus on how I'm relating to those thoughts or what I'm feeling. And when you do that, you sit down and nothing happens. You're just sitting there observing the breath. Maybe you feel a little bit more calm. Maybe the thoughts slow down. Maybe you're feeling some peace and joy at times, but nothing seems to happen. And we look for these different experiences. But that's not what meditation is about. We want to feel these special blissful states, or feel like we're communicating with the past, or like, when do I get to see my past lifetime? Because my friend over there, he's meditating, or she's meditating, and she's seen 12 lifetimes back in her life, and I want to see that also. Meditation is not about escaping this world or this life. It's not about escaping being you, or somehow getting away from being here. So instead of focusing on trying to experience something different than being here, focus on learning to see that it's okay to be here just as it is. And if you can relax, if you can be okay with just being here and learn to enjoy this life experience, whatever it may be that you start seeing lots of stuff that seems like it might be your past lifetime. It may be that you have blissful states, that you see lights, that you hear sounds that aren't there, or that you feel these emotions that are so outside of what would be considered normal that you feel like, oh, this is incredible, and that's okay. But don't get caught up in this. If anything, I mean, I would even consider it to be a big hindrance for people when they start out, because then they get caught up in this idea that, oh, I'm special now. I'm having these special meditative experiences. I'm not like everyone else, and you break up from your boyfriend or girlfriend because I'm now on the path. But that is such a trap that just will ruin your life and make meditation, make your life more difficult rather than make it more enjoyable. So instead, just focus on doing whatever practice you have, realizing that it's not about stopping your thoughts. Instead, it's about relating differently to the emotions you have towards those thoughts. And finally, not getting caught up in the experiences that you have, but instead, it's about enjoying whatever your life is right now. If all of this seems overwhelming, or maybe my explanation of what to do when you start out seems too simple, it has to be more complicated, I would say just start with breathing meditation. Even if you've done meditation before, really just get good at learning to observe your breath. And I made a video here where I go into detail about why breathing meditation is genius and why it's something you should really try out if you're interested in meditation.